today now we are done tackling about the addition polymerization, wherein a monomer is added into another monomer to create a single byproduct. Now, there are a lot of important polymers that are not made through addition polymerization because we have the second polymerization, and it is condensation polymerization. It is a process in which two molecules are tightly bonded to each other by losing a water molecule. The last component is water. Therefore, the reaction is named condensation polymerization. When two monomers create a bond, each contributes a portion of the water molecule that is lost. One molecule donates a hydroxyl group, whereas the other contributes a hydrogen. This process is repeated to produce a polymer as monomers are added to the chain individually. So we could easily understand this condensation polymerization because it is different from addition since it produces a byproduct and a water. And from the word itself, condensation, it produces liquid. Now that is condensation polymerization. And for your understanding, we have a visualization. We have an illustration here to show how this works. First, we have a monomer added into another monomer that created a byproduct and water is eliminated. And for more understanding, we will add a video for you to understand how condensation polymerization really works. Now let's have some examples. Let us have the polyesters. We can recall that there are two types of condensation reactions. First is the esterification, and second is the formation of the amides. And since we are on the polyesters, we will use the esterification. Esterification needs a carboxyl group, and carboxyl group has this image. This is a carboxyl group. And the hydroxyl group, we have this. This is a hydroxyl group. And ester linkages plus water is the product of esterification. Now we have here an example. The first thing we need to do is to check if there are carboxyl and a hydroxyl group. Since we have the carboxyl and hydroxyl, we can continue finding the product. The first thing we need to do on finding the product is pangitao nato ang ester linkages na nagproduce og water. Dirian nato siya makuha after adding the two monomers. So, OH from the carboxyl group and H from the hydroxyl group, OH from the carboxyl group and H from the hydroxyl group. And then, i-crush out nato ang mga nabilin nga molecules because we will lose it. Now, we have H2Os. H2Os. And representing og pila ka buok H2O ang nahitabo sa reactant. After that, ato lang tong kapihon kung unsa ang mga nabilin. So, ang O nga nabilin dire will be bonded to C nga nabilin dira nga side. And O will be bonded to the C on the other side. Plus the water nga nabuo nato from the ester linkages. Nabuo nato gikan sa carboxyl and hydroxyl group. Now this is our product. The next thing we need to do is to find the ester linkages. Mao ni siya ang ester linkages. Okay. Kanipod potential ester linkages. So, next thing we need to do is to find the polymer notation. Now, this is the polymer notation. So, asa gikan si polymer notation? Si polymer notation mag-start sa kung aaha magsubay sa pattern. So, since nabili na siya si CH2, ara si CH2OC, CH2, CH2OC, CH2, CH2OC, CH2, CH2, then, mao na ang notation. Katong mga nagbalik-balik nga pattern. We will now have the polyamides. Remember, there are two types of condensation reaction, esterification, and this is the formation of the amides. We need carboxyl group plus the secondary or primary amine to produce amide linkages plus water. Now we are given with a reaction. Since we have the carboxyl and also the amine, we can now continue with our first step. To get the OH from the carboxyl group and H from the amine. Now, we will box out the molecules left. And now we have the NH2O, just like the other one. The next thing we have to do is to rewrite what are left. The N will be bonded to the C, and the C will be bonded to the N. Now this is the product plus the N water. Now this is our product. The next thing, just like the polyesters, we need to find the polymer notation. To find the polymer notation, we need to find the pattern of this. But first, let us find the amide linkage. Now this is the amide linkage. Everything that has O and NH. This is a potential amide linkage. And also here. Okay, now we could see the pattern. Now, this is the polymer notation of this reaction because, as we can see, CH2NC, CH2CN, CH2, CH2N, here CH2, CH2N, C, CHCN. This is the pattern, wherein we repeat the CH2 and CH2 again here. This is how we find everything. Now, you have learned about condensation polymerization. Now, what are the examples of this in our real world? Some natural condensation polymers are cellulose, starch, and polypeptide chains of proteins. Now, that's the end of our topic. I hope you have learned a lot about polymers. Thank you and goodbye.